In decision making, managers not only use their own particular style, they may use rules of thumb or heuristics to simplify complex, uncertain, and ambiguous information. However, these rules of thumb are not completely reliable because they may lead to errors and biases in processing and evaluating data and situations. In this video, we will look at 12 common decision errors and biases in management, which also happens in our own everyday lives because we all interact with organizations on a daily basis. We will also discuss how these errors and biases relates to the decision-making process. Let's get started! Evanescent Events is a local event planning organization which brings visions to life. It ensures all event details, may it be for a birthday, wedding, or a business convention, meet their clients' specifications, from idea conception to programming and day of logistics. The company has gathered to talk about one of their upcoming projects. Good morning, ladies and gents. I have called this meeting because Evanescent Events has been hired to organize an 18th birthday party in 6 months.
So the debutant called me yesterday and the only thing that she requested was an garden birthday, and the customer really trusts us to put the rest on us, so we better deliver.
Yeah, the cornerstone of a successful event is a dream event planning team. That's what we always say here in Evanescent Events. So first, we must build our dream team for this event and establish the roles and tasks for everyone. I suggest that
I volunteer myself as team captain. With all due respect, everyone, we all know here how long I have been in this company and how many successful events I have organized. So I believe that that is enough reason for me to organize and lead this team again. My performance is untainted.
this person is exhibiting the overconfidence bias. It is when decision makers tend to think that they know more than they do or hold unrealistically positive views of themselves and their performance. Well, you have a point there, Mr. Santina. You do have an exemplary record, and I trust your skills. Well, I assign you as team captain, but you better exceed my expectations.
I always do, ma'am. I've omitted failure in my vocabulary.
Very well then. I assign Ms. Katubao as a program administrator, Ms. Kabugos as a creative committee head, Ms. Apple as operations liaison, and Ms. Abuda as a committee treasury head. I hope you all commit to your roles and complete your assignments. Please establish your subcommittee members as soon as possible. Now we move on to the event specifics. So Mr. Santina, please preside.
So the debut is 6 months from now. So we have to develop our event master plan as early as now. First up, we have to discuss the venue so we can negotiate the details.
The debutant wants a garden themed party, and you have to take that into consideration. I suggest Sofitel Hotel for the venue because it fits the client's criteria.
I agree. So we should make the venue an open area.
I disagree with that. The weather can be very unpredictable, and the birthday falls on a rainy season. I say we go to the safe side and put up pavilions.
Oh, come on, guys. I know pavilions will just ruin the scenery. I think an open area would be best for a garden event.
This one exhibits framing bias. It is when decision makers select and highlight certain aspects of a situation while excluding others. By drawing attention to specific aspects of a situation and highlighting them, while at the same time downplaying or omitting other aspects, they distort what they see and create incorrect reference points.
And you might have forgotten what happened in Mr. Garcia's wedding when we set up tents and pavilions. Remember when the roofs collapsed? Thank God the guests hadn't arrived yet.
For God's sake, Hill, the roofs collapsed because of the strong wind. It wasn't anyone's fault.
Let me reiterate. Pavilions, tents, and the like are a no-no. Thank you. Next.
The availability bias happened here when decision makers tend to remember events that are the most recent and vivid in their memory. It distorts their ability to recall events in an objective manner and results in distorted judgments and probability estimates.
I think we should talk about the budget now, shall we?
Right, we have to develop cost estimates for the venue, food and beverages, equipment, stage styling, and the overall costs for the events. Yula, everything is in your hands.
Yeah, of course, I will base the estimates for this event and the budget information of the party we organized last year with the exact same theme, so everything will be easier.
This decision maker fixates on initial information as a starting point and then, once set, fail to adequately adjust for subsequent information. First impressions, ideas, prices, and estimates carry unwarranted weight relative to information received later. This is called the anchoring effect.
So for the menu, I think it would be perfect if we served with summery flavors. I have there the list. Filet mignon with green beans, grilled chicken, and cherry tomato skewers, fresh fruit salads, stuff like that.
Oh, I know a perfect catering service to partner with. The Posh Caterers. The owner is a friend of mine. We can talk it through.
But the Posh are a known high-end catering service. They charge way higher than the rest. We should opt for something that should coincide with the client's budget.
I have direct connection to the owner. We can talk it through.
When decision makers selectively organize and interpret events based on their biased perceptions, they are using the selective perception bias. This influences the information they pay attention to, the problems they identify, and the alternatives they develop.
For the stage and venue production, the client wants pastel pink as the motif. And since the debutante's name is Lily, her parents want those lovely flowers for the event.
I have a concern with the flowers. You see, I have a friend which happens to be a florist, and she told me once that lilies actually represents death. So as a creative committee department head, I don't agree with the usage of lilies.
You're so superstitious, Kyle.
It's 2018 and 1685.
I'm not crazy, guys. Jeez, lilies are commonly associated with funeral services. We shouldn't use it to an event that celebrates life.
But they're just flowers, it's not a big deal. Besides, there are no existing scientific basis about it, so...
You're right, Kyle. Lilies are harmless.
Whatever you guys, I stand on my belief lilies are bad luck.
This is an example of confirmation bias because a person seeks out information that reaffirms their past choices and discount information that contradicts past judgments. These people tend to accept at face value information that confirms their preconceived views and are critical and skeptical of information that challenges these views.
And that is all for this meeting. I need constant updates from all the committees. If you have any problems, please contact me immediately and I want every single detail about your progress. Okay? So, meeting is adjourned.
The event planning team attended to each of their responsibilities, from the stage and venue layout, food and beverage lineup, and negotiating contracts. Everyone is on full gear as they pursue success for the project. Every single detail is ironed out, until it is just 2 days before the main event.
Hello?
Hell! The Posh Caterer is back out. I don't know why, but they're responding to any of my calls and emails. You know the owner fix this. You already paid him in full. You better or else.
What? No way! I'll call them. I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
I think we've been scammed.
I think so too. If only you would have listened to me about not hiring Posh Caterers, this wouldn't happen.
This is an example of hindsight bias. It is the tendency for decision makers to falsely believe that they would have accurately predicted the outcome of an event once that outcome is actually known.
Calm down, guys. We need to wait for Posh Caterers to respond. I trust them.
It's 30 hours before the event. We need to find another catering service as replacement.
Hale, get to your senses. We can't just wait here forever. We need a backup.
Let's give them more time. Come on, guys. We already paid them. We can't invest on another one.
This is an occurrence of sunk costs error because the decision maker forgot that current choices can't correct the past. They incorrectly fixate on past expenditures of time, money, or effort in assessing choices rather than on future consequences. Instead of ignoring sunk costs, they can't forget them.
This is the end of Evanescence event. Because the catering services back out, everything will fall apart.
Irregularities are inevitable in this business. Let's just quit the negativities.
No catering services, we're bound to fail all along.
This one is an example of randomness bias, which describes the actions of decision makers who try to create meaning out of random events. They do this because most decision makers have difficulty dealing with chance, even though random events happen to everyone, and there's nothing that can be done to predict them. This is where the decision-making process enters. First, identifying a problem. They can't dwell on this forever. They have a problem, and they have to fix it. The posh caterers did not fall through, so they have to hire a new catering service as replacement.
Look, we can't dwell on this forever. We have a problem and we need to fix it. We need to find a replacement for our caterers.
Second, identifying decision criteria. There are lots of other catering service they can hire, but they have a particular criteria on selecting one. Its ability to handle their needs, costs, location, flexibility, certifications, and customer reviews.
There's a lot of catering services that we can hire, but we are very particular in selecting one.
So I have listed here the criteria that we have to consider in selecting the catering service that we have to hire.
Fourth, developing alternatives.
I have made a research and went over crowdsourcing process. We have 5 options. We have Buy Kubo Catering Service, Fantastic Food, Palatinos, Race Caterers, and Grill and Gourmet.
Fifth, analyzing alternatives. They have to evaluate their options based on their criteria.
First, Bahay Kubo Catering Services. I think they won't be able to cater to our needs since they are only serving Filipino food. And we have already come up with our summer-themed menu, which is mostly composed by foreign cuisines.
Fantastic Food has such bad reviews. I'm checking the website and the feedbacks are all about low quality of their menu. I guess it's a pass.
We already hired para tables to our events. They serve great foods and the cost is bearable. However, their location is far from the event and that could cause problems.
Race Caterers and Grill Gourmet are obviously frontrunners. I have here that both serve high quality menu and they can be flexible enough to cater our needs. Both are in proximity of the venue so that won't be a hassle also.
Well, do they have certifications? What about the customer reviews about them?
I just checked and both have certifications. The customer reviews are mostly positive.
So I guess the fees will determine what I choose.
Grill and Gourmet offers a lower price but performs just as great as Reyes Caterers.
Sixth, selecting an alternative.
So it's settled then. Please call Grill and Gourmet as soon as possible.
Yes, I'm
We're
on
hiring
it. I'm
them.
on it.
Last, evaluating decision effectiveness. The team captain wanted to be updated about the catering service and discuss their needs. If anything comes up, he wanted to be informed right away.
Okay, so please update me about it. Discuss what we need, what they need. So, are we going?
Yes, it's okay. They said yes.
In the end, the event the team organized still turned out to be a success. Despite the problems they faced with the posh caterers, they still bounced back and hired a replacement. They received good feedbacks and recommendations from the clients. The manager of Evanescent Events calls for a meeting.
Congratulations on another successful event! The client was really satisfied with what you have presented. I know that planning the debut was not smooth sailing. So can I hear some of your experiences, the ups and downs?
So, as what Maureen said in our meetings, irregularities are inevitable. But in this case, it was the caterer's fault. If they hadn't backed out, everything would have been fine. I did my part as team leader. So that also calls out for another Best Employee of the Month award.
This is an example of immediate gratification bias, which describes decision makers who tend to want immediate rewards and to avoid immediate costs. For these individuals, decision choices that provide quick payoffs are more appealing than those with payoffs in the future.
Yes, Mr. Centina, you did part as a team leader as you must. It is your responsibility to iron out creases in the process. You did a nice job carrying out the responsibilities in your shoulders. You are as deserving as anyone as Employee of the Month. But you must learn to own up to your faults. If you make a mistake, admit it and resolve it at the soonest possible time. You know, the business world is capricious, and we should be vigilant enough to an opportunity or a threat. We might fail, but we must stand out taller. Regardless of the inevitable irregularities, I congratulate each of you for a job well done.